Can you see my
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay, good. Since I will show the website also, so I will show my whole desktop. So is it okay to hear me and see my slides?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. Yes. So is it okay?
Yeah, all good. You can go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the training. So today I will introduce you our monitor system. So I think maybe some of you already use our inverters and the monitor system. So some parts I will go quickly. And also recently we have some new features for our monitor system and some changes. So I will introduce that part to you also. So we have four parts for this introduction. Those the features of our monitor system and what is composed of and how to use it, and then how to operate our device by our monitor system. So there are 4 parts. So let's go to the first part. This is a whole structure of our monitor system. So you can see that this is the whole structure. For the bottom, there are devices. So all Lux units can be monitored by the dongles and send the signal, send the data to our server and show in our app. So now we are selling like Echo Hybrid Inverter SNA 5000 and LXP. And recently we are promoting LXP 8 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt, and 12 kilowatt in South Africa. So all of them can connect it to our monitor system. And for the dongles, I think most of you are using the Wi-Fi dongle, since the Wi-Fi dongle is very it's free after you buy it. You do not have to buy any data. However, for some area, if you have some problem for Wi-Fi, you can have other dongles. Later, I will introduce. So when we use the dongle to connect it to our devices and send data to the internet. After them, we have servers. Now, since I think last year, some customers in South Africa told us the internet is very slow to visit our website to use the app. So we have servers in Africa and in some other area to make our customer can visit the data to get the data more quickly. And so at the top is the web and app. So you know that you can monitoring our system by visit our website, or you can download the app from the Google Play or Apple Store to download the apps. So this is the whole structure of the monitor system. There are some features for our monitor system. First is real-time monitoring. Now we store. So the app is free, and we store the data in our servers. And you can remote do settings, and if you need some new functions, you can update the firmware of our inverter remotely. And also, although we have several servers, there is only one entrance. You can log in and find your device. And then in this monitor system, we have different count, like we have distributor count, we have installer account and end user account. So a different account can do different things. Then you can get detailed information from our app and the monitor system, not only the inverter information, but also the battery running info, especially for the high-5 battery. You will get in very short time. You can see that there are a lot of information of the battery, and it's easily to get the whole system data from the monitor system. Then if you lost your Wi-Fi, or if you do not, you cannot send the data to our server real time, the data will be saved. We stored locally in our chip, and then after maybe 1 month later, the Wi-Fi is good. You can plug in the Wi-Fi dongle, and you can also read the history data. So these are the features of our monitoring system. Then I will introduce some of the parts of the whole system. So first, you can see that the bottom line is the device, and then you use the dongle to connect to the device. So we have several dongles. We have Wi-Fi dongle, 4G, 2G dongle. But now I think in South Africa, we can use only 4G dongle. And we have LAN dongle. And this is our new Wi-Fi dongle. You can see in the second picture. So I can have more information for you. I think maybe 2 months later, we will send this new Wi-Fi dongle to South Africa for working with SNA units. So you can see, you cannot see the size, but actually the new Wi-Fi dongle is half size of the old one. And also this dongle is with Bluetooth function. So it will be more easier for you to set the password of the Wi-Fi. And then you can also use the Bluetooth to have the local connection. So it will be much easier than now to use the Wi-Fi dongle. But please note that the Wi-Fi dongle, the new dongle, since you can see in the picture, the interface is a little bit different from the old one. So the new Wi-Fi dongle can only work with the new SNA inverters, which you packed together. And also for 4G dongle, so this is 2 Wi-Fi dongles. And for 4G dongle and the 2G dongle, in some area, if they have 2G signal, they can use 2G dongle. It's cheaper than 4G dongle. And also there is LAN dongle. If you have Wi-Fi problem, you want to connect a cable, then you can choose a LAN dongle. So these are all the dongles we have now to monitor our devices. And after the dongles, I'd like to introduce some accounts in our monitor system. As just mentioned, in our system, there are distributor account, installer account, and end user account. Just now, one customer asked us for installer account. So actually for us, Luxpower employee, we cannot create installer account for you, because in next page, I think you can show that because the installer are bonded to distributor. So if installer want to have an installer account, they need to ask the installer account from the distributor. So if distributor buy from, will give distributor a distributor account, and after distributor get his account, he can create sub-distributor. So we have 3 levels of distributor, and then the distributor can also create the installer account. So installer can create end user account. So this is like distributor, installer, and user. And also distributor can edit, remove stations, dongles for maybe for some maintenance reasons, and they can edit users, have more settings than end user, and then they can remote update firmware themselves. So I'm not sure how many of you can remote update. Actually, it's very easy for you to update yourself. You do not need ask us to help you to update firmware every time, because you have the ability to do that from our website. And then installer account. Installer can almost do same thing with distributor, except they cannot create distributor account. So they have advanced settings. They can remove, they can edit the stations and the dongles. They can update the firmware for end users. So for end user, they can add their own station dongles and monitoring, do real-time monitoring, and do settings, some basic like charge, discharge settings. So this is the accounts. Later, I will have more will introduce more for this part. And then server. Now we have server in North America, in UK, Asia, and Africa. So before when you register, you do not need to select the cluster in our website, but now you have to choose when you help the end user to register, and so you can choose Africa. Then it will be more fast for you to visit, because when you choose Africa, we will send data there, and you will get the data locally, so it's more fast than before. And also for some customers, they buy our devices before, and for default, before the data will send to Asia, so it will be a very long time to visit. Distributor and installer can help the customer to change their servers in the website I will show you, which I will show you later. So now for new customer, when you register, you choose Africa, then your data go to Africa. And for previous customer, you can help them to change the server. But please notice that if you change the server, the history data will be gone. So you have to be carefully when make the decision. And this is the system in our monitor system, to have a view some components in our monitor system, some ideas for this. So in the monitor system, you have users, which is when you register, you need to register end user account. As I mentioned before, we have end users, we have installers, and we have distributors. Okay. And so in the monitoring system, for one end user, they may have many stations, and in one station, they can edit many dongles if they have many devices. So actually in the installation, the dongles number and the inverters number will be same, because one dongle will monitor one device and send the data to server. But for one station, they can have many dongles. So this is the relationship, the component relationship in our monitoring system. So later when you register, I will explain this to you. So these are some basic ideas for our monitor system. Do you have any questions for that? So we will continue if you do not have any questions. So the next step is detail operation when you use our monitor system. So I will show you account management, station management, and the dongle, how to manage our dongle in our server, and how to change the server for your customer. First, I introduced you that we have distributor account, we have installer account, and we have end user account. So there is very important thing is the customer code. So that is your code in the system. We will know this is your customer. For example, when you buy inverter from Luxpower or from your distributor will give you a customer code for example, for installer. And the installer, when you help the end user to register, you need to input here. You have to input the customer code here. So after you register, we will know, we see your customer code, we will know this end user, this installation is made by you. And also because your customer code is given by your distributor, we know that this device is sold by this distributor. So both distributor and the installer can see this installation, can see the real-time information, can see the settings. So customer code is very important. And as I just mentioned that we cannot help installer to create their account because we do not know whose customer it is. So where he bought the inverters, he buy the inverters. So installer need to ask the distributor to help them to create installer account. So we will know, oh, this distributor, for example, distributor B sold to B2 and to installer 2. Then both installer 2, distributor B2 and the distributor B can see this installation. Also, distributor B will need to give distributor B2 a distributor account, and the distributor B2 need to give the installer to a customer code and the installer account also. So this is the relationship. Is that clear? Okay, we continue. So if you do not have any questions. And so for distributor account and the installer account, you need to ask from the distributor or installer to get. And for end user account, customer need to register, or installer will help end user to register. So when you download our app, you go here, register, and so you can see here, you need to input your code here. So you can see the installation. And also for the website, you go to server.luxpower.com to register here. And you can see that for this, when you register, you need to input plant name or station name, what we call inside station name. You need to input dongle SN into the and the pin. So to avoid the wrong register, to avoid you using other people's dongle. So after you register all this info, the station will be created automatically because you have input a station name here. And also the dongle will be bonded to this station. So if you use this way to register, you do not need to create a station or add the dongle to the station. Then when you help customer to install the system, you just register, and after register, you set the password to the Wi-Fi, and then you can see the whole system. Also, the end user can see the system. There is another way to register is you log in with your installer or distributor account, then you can go users, and there will be a create end user account here in previous page. Then you can see in this, you do not need to input the station name, and you do not need to put the dongle. So if you create an end user account by this way, when customer gets this account and log in, they have to create the station and add the dongle to the station after they get the account. The good thing for this is since you helped the end user to register, so you do not need to input the customer code. The customer code is your code automatically. So these are the two ways to register the end user account. So after installer, distributor, or end user log into the monitor system, there are several operations I show you. This is the page for distributor. So when you log in, you go to configuration and users, and then you can add assistant account. You can add distributor account, installer account, and end user account. So just mentioned, if you add an end user account this way, then after end user get his account, he need to create a station and add the dongle into the station. Also, there are some other functions. For example, you have this is the new features in our monitor system. When you create a distributor account or installer account, there is a technical support type, contact type, and the technical support. It's like before you see our app in the last page, you can see the contact way of Luxpower. However, for locally, you need to find local technical support. So, for example, I help customer to create a distributor account, and I put his technical contact with here. So when customer log in and go to the last page, the contact page, he can see this contact. So it is no longer Luxpower contact in the last page of the app. It's the installer or the distributor's contact way. So he can connect, he can find technical support easily here in the app. So this is a difference between from with before is different. And also for the end user, for example, before our installer helped a customer install a system, but he didn't input his own customer code because he haven't get a custom installer account. And then the distributor can assign a new installer to this end user. This is one feature. And the other feature is that for some installation, the end user may like to change the settings and make the inverter cannot work. So it's really annoying. And so distributor can make the users as read only. Then the end user cannot do any setting anymore. So these are some small tips for the usage. Then this is the operations for the users, and then we can go to the stations. As I just mentioned, if you help customer use your own account, then customer need to add a station, create a station here. This is app. When you log in, you can see this station list, and you can add a station here, and you can also edit the station information here. When you log in with the in our website, you can go to configuration and the stations. Then you can do many things for the station. You can see. First, you can change the station owners. For example, you want here when you edit, you can see for the end users. If this is an end user station, you can go to edit. You can add dongle, and you can select the notice sent to who. This is when you select the notice, it will show here. So in this page, you can set if there is a notice, which email you wanted to send. This is also a new feature for our monitor system. And here is if you end user, you want to assign this station to a new end user, you can change here directly. Also, you can edit, import, and remove dongles for this station if you change a Wi-Fi dongle. This is the operation for the stations. And also you can manage the dongle. You can go to the configuration dongles, and there are many like refresh inverter. For example, if you find the device is offline and the dongle is online, and you do not know why, and then you can try to refresh the inverter. So the dongle will inquiry some inverter information again to get the information. And also for the edit part, you can change the dongle to another station. And for our new dongle, we can also remote update our dongle firmware if in case there is any bugs in the firmware, and you can remove the dongle from the system if you change a dongle. And there are some device operations. So there are not as many as users. You can refresh the inverter and you can remove. So if the inverter is fault and you replace with a new inverter, then you can remove the old inverter here. So the customer cannot see this inverter anymore. Then we can go, we introduce how to change the servers. For this, you can see there is cluster. If, for example, if customer register his inverter at Africa, and however this show Asia, it will show offline. So for installation, if you find the 3 lights on the Wi-Fi dongle are solid on, however, the system showed in the real time is showed offline. You can check which cluster it is in. You can change switch, for example, switch to Africa cluster to see the inverter is online. And for the distributor, you can go to the maintain, remote set, and dongle set. So you can choose here, switch the dongle to Africa or to other paths. So these are the all operations on our monitor system. You can manage the users, and you can do operations for the stations, dongles, and device. And at last, we will introduce the device operation. So for all inverters you buy from Luxpower, we can monitor it in this as real-time information. So now before we will store all detailed data all the time, but now we find that it's very big pressure for our server. So we will help customers to save the detailed data for 1 year. And after 1 year, we will save the data locally in our server in China, but customer cannot find the data longer than 1 year. However, the static data like the how many kilowatt hour you produced, these data are still there, and details data are existed for 1 year. So you can get the real-time monitor system, real-time monitoring, and you can go to maintain and the remote setting page to set the inverters. And also, I just mentioned that installer and the distributor can also update the inverter here. You can go to maintain and the remote update. Then you choose, there are two ways. One is standard update. Then you can click standard update. So it will update to the latest version automatically. You do not need to choose file and upload file. But for some tests, we need a special firmware, not a standard one. Then after you get our firmware, you can go to maintain, remote update, and choose the file you need to update. Then go to upload file and then click update. Then the firmware will be updated to the inverter. It's very easy. We can update our inverters from the server and also from the app local. There is a guidance. If you need, we can send you after the meeting, but I didn't show you in this training. And you can also use local update to update the firmware. So we can support both remote update and the local update. There are some other functions, but it's used in UK, like we will charge and discharge the power according to the power cost. If the power cost is low, we will charge the inverter or charge the battery automatically. And if the selling price is high, we will discharge from the battery. So this is available in UK and Spain. And then we have a new function recently that is intelligent charge according to the weather. If customer can choose is raining, oh, there is no. So in our monitor system, you can choose when there is sunshine, how much you want to charge to your battery in the midnight. And when there is raining, how much you want to charge. So after you set everything, we will get the weather automatically and choose the charger, set the charger stop SOC, and then in the midnight, the inverter will charge the battery automatically according to the weather for the second day. So that is the new feature new function in our monitor system. And that is all I need to introduce. Let's see if you have any questions or you want me to show you the monitor system in the website to get more info if you want. Let's see if there is any questions for the monitor system. I see one question is who generates the customer code? It's like who sell to the installer who will generate when he creates the account. He will need to input. For example, now let me show you. Now I'm using the monitor system. Now for example, I'm a distributor and I sell inverter to installer. Then I can go to the configuration page and go to users. Then you will add installer account for him. When you create an installer account, you can see here, you need to put a customer code. You can put like his company name, and also you need to input his what kind of support he can do, and input his contact way here. And for example, you choose email, then you input his email here. So after you create account, you give your installer the customer code, his username, his password, and then he can have an account. So when he sell the inverter, help the end user create an end user account, he input this customer code you give him, you create for him, then he and you can both see the inverter. Yes, only distributor and the installer can update firmware, because we worried about if the end user update may do some make some mistake to make the inverter cannot work normally. It's like for the customer code. Let me explain again. So let's go to this slides here. So when Luxpower create account for distributor, he give a customer code for the distributor, and when this distributor create account for the distributor too, he create account and he give him a customer code, but end user do not have a customer code. So, but however, when end user register, he need to input a customer code. He may input installer's customer code or distributor's customer code. After he input the whose distributor, the customer code, the distributor can see his installation. So it's like end user do not have a customer code. Installer and the distributor have a customer code similar to their username. So end user, if input their customer code, they can see his installation. Yes, right. Let's see if you have more questions. Which inverter model has? Now the LXP5 have it, but SNA do not have. I think we are able to have it if you think it's necessary for South African market. Now we are using it in UK market. Now for the SNA inverter, we do not need to connect RCT, but I think in March, we will add this function in our SNA inverter. Okay. Yes, we can do that. We can do that. For the weather function. As I showed in this picture, you cannot connect one dongle with multi-inverters. For one inverter, for one dongle, you can monitor only one device like this. Users can have many stations, and one station you can have many dongles because you may install many inverters at once in one site. However, for dongle and the inverter, it's like 1-to-1. One dongle can only monitor one device. I think just the city offset in the monitor, it's not for SNA. Yes, we have for our LXP models, you have external CT and we can set the offset. And but for SNA inverter we have now, we do not need to connect RCT, and so you cannot set the CT offset. Yeah. Okay. I think the dongle name can be we can go here. Configuration. You can see station here and edit. So you can change the station name here. You can go to configuration station and then edit the station. You can change the station name. I don't think this you can set the CT offset for SNA, but I need to confirm further. I don't think there is CT offset for SNA model, but for LXP it is there, I think. You can do it from the app, as I just show here. In here, edit. You can, after you log in, you can see a station list. You can edit here. Then you can change the station information. Okay, I will check the SNA CT offset function. I don't know that. Okay, we will check the CT. Okay, let's see if you have more questions. So normally, I think installer and distributor are operating on this page for new installation. Like you can have stations here at station and edit. You can edit the station, change the name, and you can select the notice where you want to send. And you can add dongle. You can import dongle. And for dongles, you can also do operations here. Like you can edit the dongle, you can remove it, and you can refresh the inverter. And the users, there are many operations for users. So you may study with your own account after the training, and you can try. Like you can edit. I think this is for installer account. So it is different for installer and for end user. So you can see here for installer account, you can edit, you can edit, you can modify, or you can remove it. But for end user, for example, this end user account, you can do more. You can configuration his station, you can edit. Also inside the edit is different from end user and the installer, and you can help him to change his cluster from Asia to Africa. For Moham's question, I think we need to get the details of your inverter serial number, then we can study. And not only distributor can create end user account. For installer, they can also create end user account. And for end user, if they get the customer code, and if they have the Wi-Fi dongle serial number, they can register themselves also. So distributor and installer can create end user account. Okay, that's a good question. And I know that someone, people are complaining, because I think for now the refresh time is 4 to 5 minutes. We are working on that, because before we think if we send the data to server too frequently, it will be a really big pressure for the server. But now we found a solution that we will refresh the data more frequently, like every 2 minutes. However, we will only save the data every 5 minutes to make our server less pressure. We will have this function, I think maybe in 2 or 3 months, to make the data fast, real time, get the data more frequently.
بكره الو بونجور بليز عزبك اصلا المأمور اخي.
Actually, so sorry that I have another we can be able to change the. I'm not sure.
انا هلا بعثت واتساب
For the
بس محل لو بدي اشوف انا فكرت هذا انه هو بس على التليفون بيعطيني لا بس انا بدي اخذ موعد للقانون.
okay. Okay, so for us, we can change the refresh rate, but normally it's used for our test. If we find some system has any problems, we will make the data faster. However, we cannot help everybody to make it faster now because it will cost a very big pressure for our server. But in future, we can make it faster to be updated faster, but not save the data in our server. We will have this function in the following months, and maybe 2 or 3 months later. I think is it maybe it's very old unit. Have you tried to read again? It's long. It is. We need to. You can send us the serial number and we can check. I think for very early version, maybe 2021, the Wi-Fi dongle do not support this function. Did you already? Oh. Okay, thank you. You can send to Joy and we can check. Okay, so if you do not have any more questions, we can finish the training, and or you later, if you have more questions, you can send us email.
Hello, everyone. I noticed there are a few more questions. I will address them here. There's one asking, do we have other models other than the 5K? Yes, we do. At the moment, we have hybrid series and the off-grid series. For hybrid, we have 5K rated, we have 10, we have 12, which are all available in South Africa at the moment. And the one you most familiar with is Eco Hybrid SNA 5K, right? This is an off-grid model, and we do not recommend to use them at the hybrid one, because we're noticing there are more and more laws and regulations coming out from the government to regulate the installation. So we do not recommend to use the SNA 5K model as hybrid model, because it does not have an external CT and it does not have the certification needed for the hybrid inverter functions with the grid connections. So the Eco Hybrid SNA 5K is clearly marketed as an off-grid model, and you should use them as an off-grid model. And yes, we do have the CT offset function on the Eco Hybrid web page. This is where users use a prepaid meter, and they pushed the button for the hybrid function of the Eco Hybrid, which use as PV and AC take loads jointly. So in this function, you might trip the prepaid meter in some applications. So when you set the CT offset as a negative value, you might avoid these issues. This is about the CT. And the other question is about the customer code. We see this question is very commonly asked in the groups, in our WhatsApp groups, and also in the emails and the inquiries in all channels in the social media. You must scan the customer code from your supplier. Either you are end user or you are installer. You must get the customer code from your supplier. A distributor will help the installer create their accounts, and during the creation of the installer account, they will assign you a customer code, so you can help your clients to install and with your own installer code. But end user do not have the customer code, because you're sitting with a end user account. You only the end user, and you use the customer code of your installers. We use this way to we use a customer code to locate who did the installation. So the end user would not have the customer code, but distributor and the installer all will have their own account and their own customer code. So you can monitor your say if you are installer, you can monitor your end user account by using your own customer code. So this is very clearly stated in all our groups announcement. Please, if you're installer, you're not in the WhatsApp groups, you can text us and we can add you in the support group. And we do have we also want to have your attention in regards to the accessories. At the moment, every unit of the Luxpower comes with a standard Wi-Fi module, which is already included. So you can have each Wi-Fi module connects to with each inverters. I noticed that there's a question, a user wants to use one Wi-Fi dongle to monitor multiple inverters, which is not possible and not necessary, because you have each box comes with a dongle. You can use them one-to-one. And for the hybrid inverters, we also comes with the box. We have the CT clamps, which the external CT clamps. But we noticed some installers or the end users, they just did not notice the box of the CT and just threw them away, which is a total waste. And also, when you want to measure the loads from the grid side, if you do not have the CT installed, you will have trouble with it. So please, during the installation, please note to unpack everything in the box and don't throw anything that useful. And we do there's another matter we want to have your attention is our next training on March, which is 2 weeks later, two weeks after, on March 9th, we have the tech talk about the hybrid 10K unit. So you're welcome to joining us again on this tech talk of the hybrid model. At the moment, the Eco is really getting really popular and massive installed in South Africa, but we have much more to use in the hybrid series. They have the better better IP protection level and longer warranty and much more function on the hybrid series, and they're all certified with ESCOM with the great certification and much more to explore. So you're welcome to joining us again. And this is all about today. If you have more questions, you're welcome to joining the group support or email us. Thank you very much.
Okay. And so, Miao Miao, I think we also need to collect some questions for the 10 kilowatt if they have now, so we can prepare for our next training.
Yes, right. You can send if you have anything you specifically want to understand about the unit, or you have anything you want to discuss in the training in next training, you can text me or text in the group support. Then we will gather the questions and we will prepare accordingly. And also, I'm already record this training. I will upload the training in YouTube channel. You can watch the training later on, or you can share if you think someone else need to see it. And also, I will share the PowerPoint from Grace. I will share it in the group. You can watch later as well. Guys, we're not able to send one by one in emails. You have to be collecting the materials in the WhatsApp group, okay? Are you increasing production to keep with the demand? Yes, yes, we do. We are sending more and more containers to South Africa, so you will have actually there's the hybrid series is already available in South Africa. So if you do have demand, you can inquire your supplier. For Eco, I think we've had some stock arrived lately, so you can also ask your supplier about that. But we're also sending more and more stock, so don't worry about the stock. You will get them anytime you want. So please joining us on the group, and you can get the playback of the link, and also you'll get the training materials in there. Thank you very much for your training, for your time today, and we hope to see you again in next training. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.